Good morning. Welcome to Live True with JT. I'm JT and I am training to run the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim. And my goal is 16 hours. It is December 5th, Saturday morning, a little bit after 7. The sun is finally poking up over the mountains. That's so nice. I've been running most of this morning in the dark. It wasn't that dark really. The moon was out. That was pretty awesome. I've done about 7 miles, just under 7 miles, and been mostly in the dark. I haven't had my headlamp out until now because I wanted to do some filming. I was like, man, I'm going to be done with this, and haven't had done any filming yet. But the cool thing is the moon was really bright this morning. It's not full. It's like a half moon, but it's so bright. I didn't even have to use my headlamp at all. I could see everything. It was so cool. I love those mornings. Yeah, so I'm just out here making my way around the trail. I'm only going to do about 10.5 miles today, something like that. But I'm feeling pretty good. I have energy. I slept really well last night, and I'm having a good time out here. I just, it's, I think that the sun is just coming up later and later, so that's why I just don't have, I'm going to be done soon, and it's still kind of dark. So I got my headlamp just so you guys can see me, because otherwise it's just really hard to see. So I'm doing okay. I'm getting some little pain actually on my left side. Piriformis muscle is acting up, so I've got to kind of deal with that. Don't want that to turn into any kind of sort of persistent injury kind of issue, but I think we're okay. I just need to get my strength training going and get some more flexibility and stuff going. The challenge is that my job, I sit at a desk on the phone doing like video meetings and doing phone calls pretty much all day long, and it's just it's not good. They say sitting is the new smoking, right? It's just bad for you to sit so much, especially if you're running, doing that any kind of athletics. It's just it doesn't do well for bone alignment and flexibility and all that stuff. So I thought, well, maybe I should just get a stand-up desk. That would help a lot. But I really like the desk that I'm using, and it's awesome. It's this vintage desk that's big, huge, full wood desk, super heavy. And it's been, my wife refinished it. There's a black walnut top. It's really nice. So the thought of getting something else is just not appealing to me right now. But we'll see. So anyways, I thought I would just at least start doing some filming because I'm running out of trail, and the sun isn't up yet. Yeah, I missed last week. Sorry I missed you. It was Thanksgiving, had some family in town, and my older kids were over, and they convinced me to stay up late with them to watch The Mandalorian. So we binge watched several episodes of The Mandalorian. I love that show. It's pretty awesome. And I just decided I was going to take it easy, so I did. So I'm back at it today. I'm rounding out nearly 10 miles here. I'm just heading back towards the parking lot right now. At least, towards the mountain. I got to go to the mountain. It's about 38 degrees this morning. It's kind of cold, but it feels good. At least that's what the weather says online. And I believe it. It does feel pretty cold, but it feels good. And it's just a beautiful morning. Beautiful, beautiful morning. I love it out here. Glad I came, of course, and I feel pretty good. I have some little aches and pains here and there, but they're not that bad. And I can tell I just need to do some stretching, some strength training, and probably come out here a little more often. We'll see. Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what else to tell you. The sun's coming up. There's hardly anybody out here, which is quite a change, you know. This place gets crowded. And at this time of morning, I would expect to see more people. I see somebody over there, way over there. But I've only seen like just a very few amount of people this morning, probably like 3 or 4 people. And so it's cool. I've got pretty much the whole place to myself, which is nice. Of course, you're with me, and that's cool. You know, it's always nice to go with friends. All right, well, I'm going to get back to this, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, I am headed up Gold Mine Mountain, getting ready to get back to the parking lot and go home for the rest of the day. I have to go home and edit this video, post it. That'll take some time. So I wanted to say a couple of words about, a couple of weeks ago I talked about comparison and talked about how, you know, it's not, how comparing yourself to others is not really the best thing. And I said, yeah, you know, we really, if you're going to compare yourself to anyone, you should compare yourself to yourself and how you were yesterday, the day before, a year ago, whatever. So my friend Fran, she commented, you know, on that, and she said, you know, I compare myself to the way I was 10 years ago, and it's really hard because I'm getting older. Now, one thing you need to know about Fran is she has done the Grand Canyon many times, and rim to rim, right, Fran? Many, many times, and she's in her 70s. Whoa. And so that's pretty amazing right there. That's just incredible. I know a lot of people in their 70s have a hard time just walking out the door, let alone doing the Grand Canyon. That's insane. People in their 20s have a hard time doing the Grand Canyon. So, Fran, you are amazing. And, you know, getting older is a real thing, right? It really is. There is a reason why athletes retire at an early age. You know, we can't dispute that. There's a reason for that. Because as you get older, your athletic ability does decline. It's a thing. That doesn't mean we can't push those limits as much as we can, no matter how old we are. And I think Fran is a perfect example of that, because what she does, you know, at her age is incredible and just an inspiration to me. So I wanted to mention that, because if there's any of you out there that are saying, oh, I can't do that because I'm getting older, and you're in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s, you might want to reconsider the way you're thinking about what you're capable of. Because the more and more I realize, the more and more I do this, the more and more I realize and meet other people that do this, I realize that, you know, a lot of times the limits that we have are those that we place on ourselves. And they're not limits really at all. I guess you could probably say the most difficult limits are the ones that we create in our own mind, right? Or the most secure jail is that which we create in our own mind, which means that, you know, there is no skeleton key, there is no dynamite, there is no explosive strong enough to break the gates of that prison unless we decide to open it ourselves. You know, I don't know, stuff I think about. I mean, when I was 44, I was on the North Rim, struggling my way up, you know, that 6,000 foot elevation gain, that the wee hours of the night, the morning. I think it was like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I'm like thinking I can't go another step, and yet there's no way I can get out of here unless I keep going. And I remember thinking, I saw some runners coming down, And, you know, that planted the seed in my mind of eventually doing this. But at the time I was thinking that's impossible. And it would be impossible for me. I was just thinking that, you know, all of my athletic ability was well behind me. And, you know, I've done a lot on that front. But boy, was I wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I mean, I've done so much more now from an endurance perspective than I did before my 40s. I've done most of it after that 44 age. So that's kind of interesting, you know. And I want to see how far I can go before, you know, age does catch up with me. We'll see. So far, I'm outrunning the age. I can still feel it. Of course, I feel it. Of course, I can't, you know, some of the things that I used to do, like I used to do a lot of weightlifting. And then my back started to give me problems. And every time I'd go in there to try to do any sort of leg workout or something, I'd injure my back. And I was like, okay, I need to back off of this stuff. Speaking of backing, back. And so I got into cycling and started doing that for a while. Then I got into running, and here we are. So I will get back into the gym, though, to help with this. But I'm no longer going to be trying to, you know, squat 400 pounds or, you know, bench a house or something like that. So I've been thinking about this topic of limits. Something just popped into my mind I think is pretty interesting. I think it's the Navy SEALs that have this sort of saying or principle that kind of goes, it's like, I think it's called the 40% rule. And it's something like to the effect that when you think you have nothing left, when you start thinking you have nothing left, you've only done about 40% of what you're capable of. Think about that if you had that mentality. And, you know, I find that, especially with the Grand Canyon, a lot of it is mental. You know, you go to where your body is like, oh man, it feels like there's nothing left and it can't go anymore. Then your mind just has to kick in and say, no, just keep going. And your body is able to do it. You're leading with your mind. And I just find that so fascinating. You know, it's just so much of what we do, especially if it's challenging, happens up in our mind. And it can be our biggest superpower or our, you know, weakest kryptonite, weakest link. So, I don't know. That's one of the things that just captures my attention with this kind of stuff is the aspect that, you know, it's not just physical. That's one aspect of it. So much of it is mental, so much of it is emotional, and it's even spiritual. I love that. It's like a holistic type of thing where you're training all aspects, all of those areas when you're doing, especially when you go further and further than what you're used to, and especially if it's quite a bit further than you've ever gone before. Pretty cool. So I will see you when I get down to the parking lot. I'm up at the top of Goldmine Mountain, approaching the other side, and I think I'm going to put the camera away, stop talking, and get back to focusing on the trail. See you in a little bit. Well, it's crowded now. Just getting back to the parking lot, and we are, let's see, 10.4 miles at a 15.28 pace, and it took me about 2 hours and 40 minutes. All right, another one in the bag. Had a good time today, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.